What's up and welcome to the video. I'm Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, fitness enthusiast, and creator of SIBO Shortcut. In this video for you today, I'm going to run through a video I made probably about 3 years ago. Today, I'm just going to reflect again on my experience with SIBO. And as I'm doing this, I'm also going to kind of tie in, if you're somebody that's dealing with digestive issues, these are the 5 steps in order that I would do if I was you in trying to kind of figure out what's going on. Just to give a little background, I got food poisoning in 2011. So that's about 13 years ago. This is back when I was in pharmacy school. I'm a licensed pharmacist. So never had any issues prior to this. Didn't really think about it, honestly. I'm sure like many other people, if they're in college, eating pretty much whatever, drinking pretty much whatever, a lot of alcohol, a lot of fast food. When you're in your early 20s, it just doesn't really affect you that much. So if something's not affecting you, you probably just aren't going to pay attention to it. Got food poisoning probably 3 to 6 months later. I just noticed my digestion felt a little bit differently. It was kind of tied in because I'd also gained some weight during this time period. So it was a little bit hard to tell like if there even was a problem. And even then, nobody knows anything about SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So I'm not going to suspect that I actually have this. If you're having digestive issues, first thing that I would do for probably everybody is lock in your diet. So for me, when I was in college, I was eating really poorly, a lot of processed foods, a lot of alcohol, even some like soda and stuff like that, which is pretty uncharacteristic of me. I don't even really like that, but I'd lock in your diet first. I have a lot of videos on diet. If you want to see some more info on them, either go here or here, links on one of those sides, and check out these videos. But mainly my main takeaway, diet, eat single ingredient foods. To break this down, what does this mean? Foods where if you look at the ingredient label, there's only one item listed. For example, an apple, it's only going to have one ingredient. It's not going to say apples and then 5 other things. Try to lock this down on your diet. Sounds like it doesn't make sense. It's not taking into consideration carbs, proteins, and fats. If you are bodybuilding or someone where you're trying to get a certain physique or a certain body composition, maybe you'll need a more tailored approach than this. But if you're just somebody trying to live a healthy lifestyle, not have chronic diseases, eating single ingredient foods is going to be your best bet. This is the simplest explanation I've ever seen to help people what they should eat to have the lowest chance of having chronic issues and digestive symptoms. It won't work for everybody, but it's, in my opinion, the best thing you could possibly do. When I had SIBO, pretty much every food seemed to cause issues because when you're bloated every day, it's hard to get a sense for, is this food doing it? Is this food doing it? I did notice that for me personally, oatmeal gave me the most gas and a lot of bloating. Again, this is not that oatmeal is a bad food to eat. It's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I would also notice dairy was also a big issue. At one point, I had a list on my phone. There was a lot of different foods on it, and I'm sure most of them were just based on the fact that I had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which means if you're eating foods that have carbs, fiber, or sugar, they can ferment, produce hydrogen gas and or methane gas, and even hydrogen sulfide gas. If you have that type of SIBO, it can cause you a variety of digestive symptoms. For me personally, number one, worst one was bloating, which is the most frustrating. I also farted a lot. This is pretty much all day, every day. It was really embarrassing. And then third, brain fog, I'd throw in there as well, just because it was harder to focus. I don't have ADHD, ADD. I did notice that when I had SIBO, things like reading were really hard, reading a page out of a book. I would have to typically do audiobooks to even be able to finish a book. And even then, you kind of get lost in what's being said sometimes. Those 3 were my main symptoms. Another food that gave me a ton of problems was whey protein. Not that all whey is bad. I happen to be eating a lot of one. It's a very common one. If you Google whey, it's in a black and red bottle. It's got a lot of added ingredients. In my opinion, this whey protein product sucks. There's only one redeeming good ingredient in it, which is whey protein. Otherwise, it's chock full of all these other additives. And it even affected my lab work, which I'll get into a little bit later on in this video. Second thing I'd focus on if you're having digestive issues is your eating habits. So besides the food that you're actually putting in your body, how you're going about eating is also really important. Things like eating when you're highly stressed, eating super quickly, not chewing your food well, drinking a lot of fluids during meals. These can all inhibit how well you digest your food. For me, I was not doing any of these things. So I'm working in the pharmacy. I'm drinking all my smoothies. I'm not eating regular food. The smoothies have a lot of liquid mixed in, which can dilute your stomach acid and make you not digest your food as well. This is actually a thing. Most people think having too much stomach acid is a bad thing. In reality, most people get symptoms, even heartburn, from having too little stomach acid. I'm eating only when I'm really stressed out, which is I was at work most days. I'll throw a disclaimer in here. Smoothies are not bad for everybody, but you are having digestive issues, this is maybe something you should look into. I was also eating very frequently throughout the day. I was having a smoothie or part of a smoothie probably every 2 hours, which if you have SIBO, there's a system of nerves and muscles in your body called the migrating motor complex. And this system helps clear out your small intestine from food. So this can take anywhere from 1.5 to 4 hours to do. So because I was constantly putting food in my body, there's a chance that this negatively affected my gut motility and contributed to having SIBO or worsening SIBO. If you want some more specific advice in how you should be eating, I have this bloating and gas handbook. It's down in the link below here labeled Bloating and Gas Handbook, part of SIBO Shortcut. This gives you 7 easy free ways which you can actually support your digestion. Number 3 thing you should do if you're having digestive issues is go to just your regular doctor's appointment and get routine lab work. Sounds not sexy at all, but going to the doctor, they can check for all the serious potential medical issues, which unfortunately these are things that happen and you want to make sure that you don't have them. When I went to do my lab work, pretty much all my labs came up as normal. There was only a couple abnormal things that really came up. The first, when I mentioned I was eating a lot of protein powder, was my LFTs or my liver enzymes and my ALT were both elevated. So talking to the doctor, they're like, are you an alcoholic? I'm like, no, I'm not, which is true. I was not. So my regular doctor actually recommended I stop taking protein powder. And from doing this actually did lower my LFT, like liver enzymes. So this is another reason why I'm very in favor of eating single ingredient foods that don't have a list of ingredients in them, such as this protein powder that I was probably having 5 to 6 scoops a day for many years. Other things on my lab work, my white blood cell count was in the normal limit, but it was near the low limit. And throughout the rest of my 20s, when I had SIBO, I just seemed to get colds and infections pretty frequently. I would even get weird stuff like I had a pilonidal cyst above my tailbone, which is a really odd infection that somebody could kind of get. It's usually for people that are extremely overweight, have very poor hygiene, which I never thought I really characterized as, but still got this weird infection. I'd also have a tonsillitis infection that would keep coming up every few years where I'd have to take antibiotics for it as well. And then this leads us to the 4th thing to do if you're having gut and digestive issues. Look at gut infections. This is stuff like SIBO, this is stuff like candida, parasites, other things along these lines. I'm not saying obviously that everybody that has digestive issues has SIBO or one of these things, but if you got to this step, number 4, this is definitely the time to look at doing a stool test, look at doing a breath test to check for SIBO. When I was working as a pharmacist all throughout my 20s, SIBO was not something that was on my radar. And this is working in a pharmacy almost every single day. I felt I knew a lot about pretty much every type of disease. Clearly, SIBO was not one that was on my radar at all. I think I dispensed rifaximin maybe 2 times in the 10 years that I was working in a pharmacy or in a pharmacy related position. It's just not being talked about. And it's a major issue because based on the way we're living our lives, the foods that we're eating, food poisoning is super common and it's likely the most common cause of getting SIBO. There's just a severe lack of resources and people talking about this topic. Usually it just gets stated that you have IBS and you need to manage your IBS by trying to figure out what foods are causing the problem. I did endless elimination diets. At certain points, you may have a few days in there where you're feeling pretty good and you think you might be onto something. But then usually after that was short-lived and I would get all the same symptoms that would come back again. If you've gone through it, it's the most frustrating thing to be trying to do where you're willing to do whatever it takes to feel better. Still nothing really seems to be working. I've definitely had times, because this took 8 years for me to even figure out what the issue was. There was just times where I would just say to myself, I just need to accept that this is how it's going to be. And if I feel not the way that I want to feel or don't look the way that I want to look, I just need to be okay with it because other people have more serious issues, which technically that's true. There's people way further worse off. Keeping that in perspective, is it the worst thing in the world? No, but you're dealing with it nonstop. It sucks. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the mental component of it as well, because usually people are telling you there's nothing wrong with you, but you know something's wrong with you. Nobody really gets it otherwise. It's just pretty frustrating. If you think you may have SIBO, you have chronic bloating, you get gas from eating like fruits, vegetables, healthy stuff, your diet's really good, feel worse when you eat healthier food, check into SIBO. If you want more information on this, I actually just opened a SIBO membership, all in an easy to follow guide, and you even get support in a private Facebook Facebook group where I'm going to be doing Q&A sessions, answering questions, and supporting you. Click that link. That's the same link where you can get more info from the bloating and gas handbook and check it out. And lastly, number 5, if you're doing all these gut tests and still nothing seems to be coming up, this is the time just to keep exploring other potential diagnoses. Like I said, there's more diagnoses and explanations for why you're having digestive symptoms not diagnosed with one of these. There's other potential reasons, and you need to figure out what they are. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more related content. I post a new full-length video every Monday and YouTube shorts throughout the week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.